What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host Marshana, Dahlia. So just tonight, we have watched Darcey and Stacey season 3, the first ever tell-all, and we have just watched part 1 of the tell-all, which was a family affair. Everyone was there. Michael and Florian arrived together. Inigo and Aspen were there. Everyone is there minus one person. Even Debbie and Raina made an appearance, but we are talking about Georgi. Georgi was not present, although Georgi was the main subject of this tell-all part 1. All that we really talked about really was Georgi, and I kind of feel like I wanted him to be there to be able to give his side of the story, because you know what they say, there's two sides to every story. There's that side and there's the truth. So I wanted him to be there to actually counteract what these people were saying, because a lot of people said a lot of different things about him. So, but you said that you're Team Georgi and you're glad that he wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm unapologetically Team Georgi, and thank you to TLC for retweeting that tonight, because I do not care what anybody else says. I have watched every season of Darcey and Stacey that there has ever been, and I have never seen Georgi's crime. What did Georgi do? What has Georgi done? I think honestly, poor storytelling, okay? Because every single reality show plot line needs a villain. And
Yeah,
somebody has decided that Georgi is going to be the villain. Georgi is not fitting of this title of villain. I think that in the pursuit of drama and trying to give the show meat for people to sink their teeth into, because honestly, viewers, y'all don't want to see everybody just sitting over here singing Kumbaya. So they needed something. We cannot air a show with just Stacey being married and Darcey in no relationship. And so therefore, I think that Georgi, looking back at the show as it aired, is seeing kind of like how things might have been manipulated. Now, listen, okay, you all watch this podcast every week because you know that George is going to give you the real. He speaks his mind. He's a fan. He's a watcher, a viewer of the show. I'm all of those things, but my part of this podcast is to give you the inside scoop, having as someone who's been on reality TV, as someone who has been on major shows, as someone who's been on TLC, to kind of like let you guys know, like a little bit of like, not intel, because I don't know for sure, but just to kind of give you guys that perspective of you're watching a reality show. And sometimes reality shows get too real. And sometimes those comments that people make actually hurt. And sometimes when you look at it played out on the screen, it is too much. I respect Georgi for not showing up. We all know no one would have ever let him speak. We know that Darcey wasn't going to offer any support. We saw what happened when he met Michael. So, and not being able to count on the fact that Darcey was going to sit there arm in arm with him and defend him, why does he have to play along? He said, listen, Darcey's grown. Darcey can do it. And I thought that was mean. I thought that he could have said something else to her on the phone. I didn't like that approach. I didn't like his tone on the phone. However, okay, he she did handle it, right? Darcey is a big girl. She is strong. She did sit there. She did kind of, I saw her stand up more for the relationship tonight than I've seen in other instances, and he wasn't there. So it's like, you know what? I wish she hadn't said that, but she is a big girl. She can't take it.
So what did you think of Octavia's appearance on the show, who is Georgi's ex-wife? And we've seen her on season 2. She made an appearance and she popped up again on season 3. And she revealed that Georgi is really good with money. And when they were married, he paid for everything. Do you think that she's stirring the pot? What do you think her purpose was for being there?
Of course, I mean, Octavia being there, number one, she's stunning. She's an absolutely stunning woman. And to know that Georgi had this ex-wife that is so hot, so well-spoken, so beautiful, that in and of itself, and I'm sorry, a beautiful Black woman, okay? And being able to see that, everybody's like, that already like makes, people start talking.
Exactly.
Is she there to stir the pot? I don't know. I don't think that any ex-wife would really have anything really amazing to say about an ex-husband. So I think that just by nature of the fact that they are ex-spouses, she's not going to have the most glorious and illustrious things to say about Georgie. So that is fine. What's interesting to me is, ladies, you have to know it's all about what you will accept from a man, okay? Because if the same man would pay for all the dates and expenses while he's with Octavia, and the same man is not going to do it for Darcey, it's all about what you'll accept. Now, listen, again, I've said this before. I don't think that Georgie is a deadbeat that just doesn't want to pay bills and that just doesn't want to support. Everyone had to pivot in the pandemic. And because of the nature of his work, he is having to switch industries. And we learned something new tonight, that he's actually in real estate school working to get real estate license. So it's interesting to me that they rag on him for not having a job, for not working, for not earning any money. And now when he's prioritizing learning a new skill so that he can make money, they're shading him for not showing up while he's taking time to focus on his career and be that, provider.
See, I want to bring that up. There was a tweet that came in while we were live tweeting the show tonight, and they said, why is it that they rag on Georgie for not being able to provide when it's the exact same situation with Florian as well, because he's not working. And yes, he didn't have a green card to work, but the situation was the same. Neither one of them were providing, but only Georgie got the bunt of the bashing. And people said that doesn't seem fair, because everyone was suffering in the pandemic. And yeah, he didn't have his green card yet. He couldn't work. And it kind of was the same situation with Georgie, because in his field, he couldn't work either. It was kind of the same situation. So it didn't seem fair. It seemed like every time it was about monetary finances, it all fell on Georgie, and Florian was always exempt from those bashing sessions. And it's true, it's not fair. I don't feel like it was ever equal. I feel like he was always set up to fail in this relationship. He was always the one who was being the villain and made to be the one that people were supposed to hate. And it's funny because most people don't hate Georgie. They actually sympathize with his situation. So let's talk about the ring real quick, because I want to make sure I have time to talk about that. So Darcey was proposed to, and she said that it was an upgraded ring, and it was this beautiful ring. We've learned that she paid for the ring. Well, at least the $10,000 deposit for the ring. Georgie did not contribute to that. So what's interesting was she was so surprised at the proposal with the ring that she bought. So TLC, we're watching. Okay, so that was not a big surprise, but let's not harp on that. What do you think about this ring situation? Because Octavia said, if that's what you allow him to do, that's what he's going to do. So you feel like Darcey and Octavia, the way that they handle Georgie is kind of why he behaves the way he does? Because Octavia said in her segment, if he did that to me, I would cut him loose. And Darcey is letting him do that. Do you feel like Darcey isn't being stern enough with him? What do you think the difference is between the two women and him?
I don't know what the differences are between the two women and him. I'm not going to put the two women and say one is better, one is stronger, one is firmer, one is whatever. I don't like to put women, in this thing, when it comes to a man, right? So I'm not a here and do that. Again, I just think circumstance, time is different. Octavia also said that he's a malignant narcissist, and he may very well be. I don't know. I am not with him.
We didn't see that on the show, but again, we only saw bits and pieces of his life.
Yeah, we don't know. Again, this is like snippets, in a hyper-produced situation of people's lives. There's no way you could even really know. In one sense, we see Aniko and Aspen feeling really, really, really badly because their mom and their aunt are being berated online. Again, I have to remind people, we don't know Darcey, we don't know Stacey, we don't know their motivations, we don't know their finances, we don't know their lives. We are watching a carefully curated, produced, snippet of their life. So we don't know that. So I'm not about to sit here and just because I'm Team Georgie bash Darcey. That's not even anything that I'm willing to do. We also know that Darcey and Stacey have the biggest dogs in this fight. This is their show. It's their name on the banner. When people are sitting down and they're looking to get renewed for another season or get advertising for the show or, get other contracts and to make other things happen as a result of this show, it's their names that are on the line. Okay. They have to bring the audience. So as much as people sit here on Twitter and bash Darcey and bash Stacey and talk about their plastic surgery and say some really nasty things about them as if they're not somebody's daughter, as if they're not somebody's mother, that they're like people and humans with a heart and feelings. They also have to understand that, you know what, you cannot shade the fact that they have worked their way up to this point to have a show multiple seasons in with their name on the banner. That's a big accomplishment. So I'm not about to sit here and judge them and say bad things about them, things that their daughters read, their children read, and make them feel bad. And in the same vein, we should do the same courtesy to Georgie, right? We shouldn't be sitting here trashing him and bashing him, you know, things that he's reading, his family is reading. And I wholeheartedly, again, support his decision to stay home and stay away from negativity. It's not worth it. He doesn't have to show up there and say anything. I don't think that it would have been a fair fight. It can't be one against all.
This is true. And there is a part two to the tell-all. And people, there was a little buzz online that people said that he did make a brief appearance on part two. I can't verify that. I can't deny it. I don't know. But I would love to see him just be able to speak his piece, even if it's just for 2 minutes, just to say how he feels. Sometimes it's good to just be able to clear your name. And I know you're against it, but I just believe that everyone has a right to defend their name and their reputation. So we're going to watch next week and see if he's able to. And I know that Jesse and Tom, once again, have made an appearance on this tell-all. And I'm at this point, guys, you both dated her for like 3 months each. Like, it's time to let it go. Let Darcey live her life. Stop commenting on what she's doing and just let her be. Darcey has had to take these comments from them for years and years. And I actually feel like at this point, it's abuse. The verbal abuse that she's getting from them is unfair. And I wish that they would stop including them in these tell-alls. It's just unfair. They're just sitting there and they're ragging on her for past relationships that didn't even last long enough to even be talked about in the first place.
And listen, I'm the kind of person, I'm married now and I'm no one's ex, okay? If we dated back in the day, I don't know you anymore. Like, I don't know you. Like, I'm nobody's ex. Like, I am married. I am Mrs. Pavento. Anything else that happened before, like, Marshana, do you know so-and-so? Weren't you dating him? No, I wasn't. I don't know him. I don't know anybody. We break up, I don't know you. These two, and I love Tom. I do.
I do too. I'm a fan of Tom, but
I'm a huge fan of Tom. If I was him, I love Tom. So, Tom, this is not anything like shady against you. But if Darcey's story is evolving, right, good storytelling would be to let's take the arc forward. We know we met her on 90 Day Fiance or before the 90 days with Jesse, and we know we saw her with Tom. But these things are in the past. Let sleeping dogs lie. Like, can we all just move on?
Yeah, very far in the past. It's been years, like years. So I agree with you 100%. All right, guys, that's it for the part one of the Twins Tell All Darcey and Stacey podcast. I can't wait to see what happens next week. And we're going to wait until season 4 to see what Darcey and Stacey have in store for us in the future. I know it'll be a lot of House of 11. And will there be a new man in Darcey's life? We will have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Darcey and Stacey Tell All Part 1 podcast. I'm George Mossey. This is Marshana, Dahlia, and we will be live tuning with you next Monday night, and we'll see you guys really soon.